Thank you for coming to save federal taxes legally. I appreciate you coming. I hope you have pen and paper and your cell phone so you can take some pictures. What I'm going to teach you in a few minutes, what everyone should know. First, let's start off with 3 simple questions. Number 1, do you want to save a legacy for the future generations? Please put in chat yes or no. Question number 2, do you want to save federal taxes year after year, generation after generation? Again, put yes or no into the chat. And number 3, do you want to learn the secret of the rich? In chat, please say yes or no. Thank you for doing that. This is Save Federal Taxes Legally. I want to say thank you for taking the chance to come learn something new. Everyone should know this. This is for U.S. business owners, 1099 income earners, and investors. My name is Sally Gibbon, and I'm going to teach as many people to save taxes. With the Spendthrift Trust, it's in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It's legal and it's copywritten. Current tax code came into effect back in February of 1913 in the Barron families. The Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, and the Kennedys put this into 643B so they can continue to save taxes. And now you're going to know the secret too. Before I get there, I do want to talk about the elephant in the room. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how come my CPA doesn't know this? How come I've never heard of this before? Great question. I have 3 articles from a Forbes magazine I will send to you that talks about people making between $3 to $5 million to be looking at this. Unfortunately, there are over 1 million attorneys in the United States, and only 4% of the attorneys are trust attorneys. A textbook they study in law school, these 4% of trust attorneys, is Scott and Asher on Trusts, 5th edition. I'm putting it in chat. If your financial advisor or your CPA tells you, hey, I've never heard of this before, this is a textbook, maybe they don't want to watch. I'm not making fun of CPAs. I'm dyslexic. I transpose numbers. I can never be a CPA. But most CPAs work in the 300, 400 level and file 1040 tax returns. This is up 643B level, and it's going to file a 1041 tax return. That's why people have not heard of this. Now, with the Spendthrift Trust, the history of it, it comes from England way back when King Henry VIII got in trouble for chopping off his wives' heads. He started the Church of England. Hey, murder a few ladies, start a church. Why not? It's contract law. It came from England to the colonies while we were still a colony of England. The law firm I work on behalf of has a copyright, 72-year-old copyright. Robert Benson was a Harvard law professor who wrote the Benson Financial Trust. He started his law firm 72 years ago with his best friend. They left it to 2 sons, and now it's grandson, so the law firm's changed its name. They inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. This is how long it's been in the United States, while we were still a colony. Now, with the trust, it's going to save you so many different ways. Like I said, federal taxes, keep your information 100% private. Your LLC does not do that. It's going, I can't stop you from being sued, but you'll pay no judgments if you are sued. It's like a stone. You can't get blood from a stone. I'm worth nothing. So if someone sues me, it becomes a frivolous lawsuit. And then number 4, if you're not aware of the Corporate Transparency Act, I want to tell you about this. This is coming from the Treasury Department. It's starting January 1st, 2024. If you are currently an LLC, doing business as, or a corporation, you don't have to do the paperwork until January 1st of 2025. If you start a new LLC, doing business as, or a corporation in 2024, you have 90 days to do the paperwork. If you do not do the paperwork, you will be charged $10,000 or 2 years in jail, or both. $10,000 or 2 years in jail. If you do the paperwork and do it incorrectly, you will be charged $500 a day, including Saturdays and Sundays. Let's say you file the paperwork and it takes them 6 months to get back to you. It could be more than $10,000. All the Spendthrift Trusts I discuss, you do not have to do the paperwork. You're shielded from doing that. This is all going to be investigated by the Financial Crimes Network. And if you email me at info@thetrustisyou.com, I will send you the slide and 2 documents from the Financial Crimes Network, so you will have this information. Again, this is happening. It's as a past law. I want to make sure you're all aware of that. Now, what I'm going to discuss first is going to be the business trust. The business trust is for all U.S. business owners and 1099 income earners. You will save federal income taxes. And then if you get everything into the trust and you're in a state that has state income taxes, you'll save that too. I'm going to share this screen. This is an actual client of mine here in North Carolina. Back in February of 2023, I took my friend Ingrid door knocking to teach her how to become a real estate investor. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we go into the New York style pizzeria and get a white pizza, best white pizza there is possible. And we sat there, we chit-chatted for 2 hours while eating our pizza. As we got up to leave, Roberto, the owner, asked for my business card, and I met him and his wife, Marianne, 2 days later at the pizzeria. They had just done their 2022 taxes. They knew they were making about $15,000 a month. For 12 months, that's $180,000 a year. I took them out to bankrate.com and showed them that filing jointly, they would be paying about $30,215 for the full year. Just to give you a rundown taxes, it's between 10% to 37%, 7 different layers, and 4 ways to file your taxes. So $30,215 times 90%, they're going to save in a full year $27,193 at least. Most of my clients are saving between 90 to 95% or higher. You never want to be completely 100%. That's when the IRS comes after you. But in 2022, I saved 92% on my 3 online businesses. I only paid 8%. So what they plan to do, when they save all the money in 2024, they're going to open a 3rd pizzeria. In 2025, they're going to open a 4th pizzeria. They're going to work for another 10 years. And in 3035, when they retire, they'll leave 2 pizzerias to one child, 2 pizzerias to another child. The children will inherit the pizzerias, no inheritance tax, and they too will save federal income taxes. Beautiful thing. I just want to show you some of my clients here who are also saving. This is a 1-year savings. A mechanic in New Jersey. He's saving, his husband and wife run the shop. They are going to save federal taxes and state income taxes. I was on her podcast. She has a salon in Los Angeles, and then she also has a school. She's young, single. She makes over $1 million a year. We're going to save her federal income taxes and state income taxes for about $401,000. A Shopify owner who sells earrings. She's going to save about $17,338 every year. A home inspection company with 5 inspectors. As a husband and wife who run the home inspection company, they're going to save over $70,000 a year. A real estate broker, for his real estate agents, I'm going to show you their savings too, but he's going to save about $59,000. A dentist in California. This is a newer client. Husband and wife. The wife works as a school teacher. She makes a W-2 income. I can't help her. We're taking his dental practice out of their LLC, so it was causing the tax rates. He's going into has a new EIN number. The dental practice will be there. He's going to save over $29,800. The dental practice will pay for the receptionist and for the hygienist. Their state taxes and federal taxes go from 32% down to 24%. They're going to save over $29,000. His wife wants to quit teaching, stay home with their 6 and 4-year-olds. Commercial lighting. This is a gentleman in Chicago, and then a gentleman in Atlanta who has an HVAC company with 12 trucks. All of this is just 1 year of savings of money. Adding these clients up from October to November, they're going to be saving over almost $1 million in federal taxes at 90%. Again, I'm not trying to crow. I'm trying to show how you can save taxes. Again, the business trust is for U.S. business owners and 1099 income earners. You will save federal income taxes, and if you're in a state with state taxes too. Now, my story. Back in October 2018, my oldest nephew got married. I was working full-time as a Medicare broker. My mom and dad I was living in Phoenix. My mom and dad were in Goodyear, Arizona, about 20 miles west of Phoenix. They drove from Goodyear, Arizona to Charlotte, and along the way, my mom got dehydrated and she got septic to the blood. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. My parents stayed in the Charlotte area for over 9 months until my mom got strong enough to bring her back to the Valley of the Sun. I was working as a Medicare broker. October is the busiest time for us. I worked until 8 o'clock Friday night before the wedding, drove myself to Sky Harbor Airport, did a red eye to Charlotte. My other nephew met me. Family tradition, we go to IHOP for breakfast. Then we went to the hospital to see my mom. We walked in, the priest was giving her last rites. It was a surreal day, because my mom's getting last rites in the morning. I go to my brother's house to take a shower. I go to a wedding that afternoon with friends and family from all over the world. Had a great time at the wedding. Sunday, we have lunch, go back to say goodbye to my mom, caught an afternoon flight because I had to be at work Monday morning, 6 a.m. Arizona time, because I was working Michigan hours. Yikes. So I have my house in Phoenix. I'm driving out to my parents' house twice a week to do the mail because my dad had only been planned to be gone for 2 weeks, and he was gone for 9 months. First week of December, a letter, 27 pages thick, it was folded in half. It was from the Centers of Medicare statements. It was my mom's first month statement in a hospital on a ventilator, big bold black letters. It said $172,000 a month for that. Right there, in the middle of my parents' kitchen, I called my friend Glenn on my cell phone. He had invited me to a real estate meeting in August, and I said, everything's on hold until open enrollment, Medicare open enrollment is over with. Then I'll look at it. Called Glenn and said, I need to change my life today. My 3-week-old brand new car got T-boned. I didn't have gap insurance. I had to buy another used car. I had a mortgage. I had student loans and credit card debt. He said, hey, next week we're having a Christmas party. Rhonda and I are going to be a little bit late. Show up with a $5 gift and something to eat and to meet some of my real estate investors. I don't know about y'all, but going to a party where you know nobody, kind of scary, but the best decision I made. In 2019, I was still working as a Medicare broker, and I wholesaled 7 houses. Yay, Sally! Paid off all my debt, doing really well. April 3rd of 2020, my CPA called me and said, Sally, you need to come to my office. Can you be here at 3 o'clock tomorrow on April 4th? I drive from Phoenix over to his office in Scottsdale, go up, introduce myself. He says, Sally, I'm looking at your taxes, and you're going to owe over $75,000 in short-term capital gains to the federal government. We need to get you on a payment plan. I did not hyperventilate in his office. I said, put me on a plan to get me to pay these off. I'll do this. Shook his hand, go down to the parking garage, sat in my car, and I cried my eyes out. $75,000? Jeez. So I have to drive through rush hour traffic back to Phoenix. I'm in shock. It's about 6 o'clock at night. I'm doing the things. I don't know what to do. My stomach's on the floor. I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, I need to start wholesaling even more houses than the 7 I already did. My great aunt Kitty in Ireland, she always made a comment, let me sleep on it. Whatever the problem is, let me sleep on it and I'll get a solution. Go to bed thinking, how am I going to pay $75,000 off? I go to bed, wake up 5 o'clock the next morning, don't have to be up that early. I think, where's that book from Garrett Gunderson? He wrote a book called What the Rockefellers Do. He's an instructor in my real estate group. I had a paperback copy of the book. Got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, found the book, sat down, started reading it, started taking notes, and I started researching the Rockefellers Trust. It's called The Office. It's 7 generations old. It has almost 400 people under the same EIN number. They all have their own individual bank accounts. And if the Rockefellers can do it, I can do it too. I started researching it. And in September of 2020, I started the business trust and the beneficial trust that is for investors. In 3 years, I have been able to save 29 wholesale deals, 12 notes. I have 4 rentals. I have a crypto bot. I have 3 online businesses. I'm not trying to crow, but I have saved 6 figures in federal taxes in 3 years. If I can do this, y'all can do this too. So I'm so glad you're here to listen to this. Now, the first house in July of 2020, the first house that I put into the trust was this Rocky Mount, North Carolina property. It came up into as a deal of the week in July of 2020. It was a reverse bank-owned reverse mortgage. The woman had passed away. The contract I bought for $20,000 and was going to go to auction for $50,000 when COVID restrictions were lifted. I was on a payment plan with the IRS. I went from 22% up to 24%. So I use all my figures for me at 24%. I started my trust in September. I did 2 simple bill of sales. I Googled them. One from my LLC for Rocky Mount to Sally Gimmon. Second bill of sale for Sally Gibbons that has Rocky Mount and putting it into my Spendthrift Trust. I printed them up. I drove to the bank. My banker, Jose, did the notary. As he's doing the notary, notarizing the first bill of sale, I hand him $10. He makes a note that consideration was made. He hands me the $10 back when he does the second notary, notarizes the bill of sale. Drive back to my house, scan them, send them to the attorney in Raleigh. I'm still in Phoenix. Next day, the attorney in Raleigh says, I need the first page of your trust. I scan that, send it to him. When it finally went to auction, August 28th of 2021, it started at $50,000 and went up to over $64,000. Yay, Sally. I made $44,326 in profit without lifting a hammer. This is the way I like to invest. More importantly, with that, I saved over $10,368, more than half of the trust with my first property. I'll be honest, the trust costs $20,000 for one trust. This first property paid for about half of it. Again, since then, I've done so much more real estate. I have a crypto bot. I have notes, everything else. I just want to show you with what's going to happen with real estate. Oops, I want to stop sharing. When you're with beneficial trust, you're going to save the following taxes with the beneficial trust. With the beneficial trust, short-term capital gains are a year or less. Long-term capital gains are either 15 or 20% for a year or more. Interest income, if I have 12 notes, they pay me the interest. Interest income's for passive investors, subject to investors, seller financing, or creative financing. That's between 10 to 37%. I use for my tax paperwork, I say I'm at 24%. Dividend income, if you're in the stock market, if you have dividend income, if you're doing binary trading, futures trading, or options trading. My friend Glenn, who got me into real estate, he does my options trading. I don't know if you know about puts and calls. If the contract does not go through, you have to buy 100 shares. I can't sleep at night. When you're an options trader, profits a year or less are at 40%. A year or more, they're at 60%. The Spendthrift Trust saves you that way. Rental income. I now have 4 rentals. I'm saving the money that way. And then royalties. Royalties are a little bit less. If you're an author, a songwriter, an actor, you're in the NFT world, intellectual property, this is copywritten, so I get paid royalties for selling the trust. Again, I use 24% for that. This trust is amazing. Let me stop sharing there. Now, the beneficial trust is for investors. The business trust is for U.S. business owners. I want to make sure you know how you can be saving as much money as possible. Again, I'm going to share my screen. This is long-term capital gains. Jake saw me on TikTok. He reached out to me on TikTok and said, my mom and dad are selling a 42-year-old restaurant for $3 million March 30th. I said, I need to talk to your parents. Can we get them on Zoom? He laughed. He said, my dad's never been on Zoom. I got Jim and Jenny on Zoom. I explained to them that they're using a business broker, so I would have to talk to the business broker. His name's Sam. I explained to him Jim and his 3 brothers built the restaurant 42 years ago. So they started at 0. They're selling it for $3 million. April 15th of 2024, at 15%, they would pay $460,000. At 20%, I'm not a CPA, so I'm not sure which way they'd have to pay. At 20%, they'd have to pay $600,000 on April 15th. I told them I did have to talk to their business broker, Sam. They gave me his number. Sam and I had a conversation. Sam, who was making 6 figures, started the business trust for himself. Sam also talked to the gentleman who was buying the restaurant. It was going to be his 7th restaurant. Told the gentleman buying the restaurant he needs to get the business trust. We set him up also. Sam made $600 as a referral for that. On closing date on March 30th, I got a call from Kentucky. I didn't know what the number was. I picked it up because maybe something was going wrong. His wife, Jennifer, knew about the trust, didn't realize how much they would be saving, and she was giddy. She was like, that's 6 figures. That's going to change everything. They're moving from Kentucky to Florida to be near their 3 grandchildren. 2 sons are in Kentucky. They're not married. Ladies, single men. But they're moving to Florida to be within 5 miles of their 3 grandchildren. She wants to contact David of My Lottery Dream Home. It's an A&E program to find them a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house They're going to call the capital gains house between $460,000 to $600,000 because that's what they want to be known for. I think it's a great story. I'm going to have to watch the show sooner or later to see what happens on that. Now, with the trust, I'm inviting you to set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me. It's going to be at www.thetrustisyou.com/scheduling. I just put it in the chat. Now, the two biggest complaints I get all the time is the cost and time. This next slide is is one of my clients. He had sat in on my meeting in my real estate group 3 separate times. On February 7th, 2021, Super Bowl Sunday, Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Yay, Tom Brady. He went and door knocked at sunset on this house for the 4th time. He caught a grown daughter about to leave to go back to LA. Her car was old, didn't have air conditioning. Her father had passed away. They stopped the auction. She got her father's 2020 vehicle completely paid for and some money for the house. My friend made $50,000 when he wholesaled it. He knew that his tax rate would be 22%. He would owe $11,000 in capital gains April 15th of 2022. He's just like, I'm going to have plenty of time to do something with this. Yeah, middle of COVID, no more houses were up there. He got an payment plan of $960 a month and started Ubering 6 nights a week. September of 2022, his wife fell down the stairs, broke her hip. She was bedridden. He couldn't go out Ubering until one of his grown children came to sit with his wife. He knew his mistake. He started the trust. He has done 5 more wholesale deals. So if we did each deal for $50,000, he got to save over $55,000 with the Spendthrift Trust. Again, that he didn't do it the first time. He's doing it now. And the last time he and I communicate, he said he's saving that much money. My speaking coach said I should share this with you. Every time I sell a trust, I make a donation to St. Mary's Food Bank in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the oldest food bank in the United States. When I was a kid, my mom used to walk to it. My mom never learned how to drive. She used to walk to it twice a week to help out because she was appalled that U.S. kids went to bed food insecure. My grandfather died in Ireland, December of 1939, right when World War II was starting up. I'm 5'9". I can palm a basketball, and my brother's 6'4". My mom's fingers were 1.5 inches longer than my hands. She wore size 9 shoes. She was only 5'2". I'm 5'9" now because of my back, and I wear size 11 shoes. I make a donation to St. Mary's Food Bank in her name because she's the one who set this up for me. Now, this next slide, please take a picture of this. This is all my information. If you want to set up an appointment with me, it's going to be thetrustisyou.com/scheduling. My website is thetrustisyou. And if you want to refer people to me, become an affiliate. If they buy a trust and I get paid by the law firm, I will send you $600 by PayPal, by Cash App, by wire, or by check, however you like to get paid. Again, to set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me, I'm going to give you a copy of the book I read, if you'd like it, 2 pages of case law. When you start the trust, I will also give you a formula on how to build business credit for Dun & Bradstreet. 3 months you're buying light bulbs at Granger, and then you're going to eBay those light bulbs or whatever you're going to do. But again, there's an entire team behind you working with this. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to open this up for Q&A. If you have any questions, where's my cursor? There you are. I'm going to stop the share right now. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad you have learned something new here.